So imagine taking like $50,000 of your quarterly operating budget,
Mhm.
right? In cold, hard cash.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you walk into this massive crowded stadium, grab a megaphone, and just start shouting about your business.
Sounds pretty inefficient.
Well, it gets worse because there's a catch. Everyone in this stadium is wearing like top-of-the-line noise-canceling headphones.
Right.
And they're all furiously busy. They're, reading the news, playing games, checking the weather.
Just completely tuned out.
Exactly. So you're spending thousands of dollars just to stand in that room, but no one is actually listening. And honestly, almost no one is even in the market for what you're selling.
So it's basically just a perfectly funded shout into a total void.
That's exactly it. And, what we're looking at today is how that scenario isn't just some hypothetical nightmare.
No, it's really not.
It's the exact reality for thousands of car dealerships right now when it comes to their digital marketing budgets. So, welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one.
We're unpacking this really fascinating analysis on why car dealerships are just quietly bleeding out their marketing budgets through Google Display ads.
And more importantly, how to actually stop that bleeding.
Right. By looking at the back-end data, so whether you run a rooftop yourself, manage a dealer group, or you just work in B2B digital marketing, there are some massive aha moments ahead today.
Oh, for sure. We're really getting into the weeds of where the money actually goes.
Brought to you by DeskReadyLeads.com. If your dealership is tired of leads with no context, no intent, and no real reason to buy, it may be time for a different approach. Visit DeskReadyLeads.com to see how we can help your dealership generate better conversations with buyers who actually have a reason to engage.
So coming right off that idea of finding buyers who actually have a reason to engage.
Yeah, we have to look at the exact opposite of that dynamic, right?
Exactly. The core misunderstanding driving all this waste in Google Display ads really comes down to a fundamental misallocation of intent versus attention.
Dealerships are just heavily funding attention, assuming it functions like intent.
Right. And you see this constantly in those initial vendor pitches.
Oh, the slick slide decks.
Yeah, exactly. A marketing agency will come in and present a media plan that looks incredibly robust on paper.
Right. Yeah, they're always like, we'll keep your dealership top of mind.
Right, we're going to generate hundreds of thousands of impressions, secure banners across major websites, YouTube, Gmail.
It sounds amazing.
It does,
Yeah.
because they present Google Display as this sort of parallel strategy to Google Search.
Like they're two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. But mechanically, they operate in completely different universes.
Because Google Search is essentially a demand capture mechanism, right?
Yes. When a user types, use Silverado near me, they are directly querying a database to solve an immediate problem.
They're explicitly telling you what their intent is.
Exactly. Google Display, on the other hand, relies on a push mechanism. It's algorithmic interruption.
Right. So your banner ad is popping up while someone is, I don't know, checking a recipe for lasagna.
Or reading a local news article about a pothole, yeah. And that algorithmic interruption is where the budget drain starts.
How so? Like technically speaking?
Well, the ad exchange is bidding in real time to place your creative in front of a user based on, like, historical data or demographic assumptions.
Okay.
But at that exact moment, the user's primary objective has absolutely nothing to do with buying a car.
So you're basically buying their peripheral vision while their actual cognitive focus is entirely elsewhere.
That's a great way to put it.
It's kind of like, okay, think of it like this.
Yeah.
Google Search is like a customer walking into a hardware store, walking right up to an employee, and specifically asking, hey, where are your hammers?
Right, because they need a hammer right now.
Exactly, you're fulfilling a request.
Yeah.
But Google Display is like walking up to a complete stranger who was like actively eating a hot dog at a baseball game.
Just minding their own business.
Right, tapping him on the shoulder and asking, hey, do you want to buy a hammer?
And not only do they not want a hammer, they're annoyed that you interrupted the game.
Yeah, they're like, get away from me.
Mm-hmm. And when we look at how this plays out on the back end, those interruptions look amazing on a vendor report.
Oh, I'm sure. The dashboard looks flawless.
Right, a dashboard showing 200,000 impressions and 5,000 clicks. That feels like a massive win in a boardroom.
On the actual sales floor.
It translates to zero meaningful customer conversations, because the fundamental mechanism of the campaign was built on distraction, not demand.
Okay, so if tapping someone on the shoulder at a baseball game is clearly such a bad, inefficient strategy, guess the natural question is, why do they keep doing it?
Right? Why do dealer principals keep signing off on this?
Yeah, every month.
Yeah.
It really just comes down to the seduction of the metrics themselves, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. The numbers create this optical illusion of efficiency.
Like it's a bargain.
Yeah, we're talking about the vast discrepancy in cost. A dealership looks at their cost per click on high-intent search terms, and, it might be wildly expensive.
Depending on their market, sure.
Exactly. Then they look at their display campaigns where they're acquiring clicks for, pennies.
So the immediate instinctual reaction is just to dump more budget into the cheaper column, right? To maximize that traffic volume.
Exactly. They see a cheap click and think they're winning.
But wait, let me push back on that for a second.
Yep.
Let me play devil's advocate for you.
Sure.
If I'm a dealer, I know I'm buying cheap traffic, right? I know they aren't actively searching for a car at that exact second.
Right.
But I also know I need brand awareness in my local community.
Yeah.
If it costs a fraction to search, isn't getting the dealership's name out there worth something? Isn't it building long-term equity?
Well, that assumes the eyeballs are actually registering your brand. We have to look at how the real-time bidding algorithms actually fulfill those cheap placements.
Like where the ads actually go.
Right. To get you those incredibly low costs, the algorithm has to find the absolute cheapest available ad inventory on the internet.
Which is usually garbage.
Total garbage. It's placing your ads on cluttered, low-quality sites, or what the industry calls made-for-advertising websites.
Oh, I've seen those, where there's like 50 ads on one page.
Exactly. The ad density is so high that your banner is essentially invisible.
So you're basically just buying a discount on irrelevance.
Precisely. You aren't building brand equity at all. You're funding accidental clicks and bot traffic.
Wow.
And when you look at the Google Analytics data for these campaigns, you consistently see bounce rates near 98%.
98%. That's insane.
With time on site measuring in the single-digit seconds.
Right, they click and immediately hit back.
Yeah. So paying less for weaker traffic that instantly abandons your website that isn't an efficient top-of-funnel strategy.
It's just cheap noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just buying cheap noise to artificially inflate the total traffic numbers on an end-of-month report.
Okay, so that makes total sense for prospecting, like trying to find strangers. But what about people who have shown intent?
You mean retargeting?
Yeah, retargeting.
Yeah.
This seems like it should be the strongest argument for display ads, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Because if someone visits the website, they check out a specific truck, maybe they look at the trade-in page, they've shown real intent.
Oh, absolutely. Following them around the internet should be where the return on ad spend really peaks.
But from what the analysis shows, it's usually executed terribly.
Terribly. The way it's actually executed at the dealership level is often fundamentally broken.
Because of lazy setup.
Exactly. It's a technical failure. Instead of segmenting their audiences, most dealerships just take a single tracking pixel, slap it site-wide, and dump every single visitor into one massive, unsegmented bucket.
Oh, no. So they're treating everyone exactly the same.
Right, which leads to disastrous user experiences.
Give me an example of how that plays out.
Okay, so you have a customer who navigates to your site, they check your service department hours to get an oil change, and then they leave.
Okay, simple enough.
But because they fired that site-wide pixel, the ad platform now aggressively chases them across the internet for the next 30 days with banners urging them to finance a brand new SUV.
That is so annoying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the ultimate failure of retargeting has to be chasing a customer who already bought a car, right?
Oh, that happens all the time.
It's like a clueless restaurant waiter.
Yeah.
You've eaten your meal, you paid the check, you're walking out to your car.
And they come sprinting after you.
Yeah. Sprinting across the parking lot, aggressively trying to sell you a plate of mozzarella sticks.
That is the perfect analogy. And the mechanics of why that mozzarella stick scenario happens are actually really important to understand.
Because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Basically, yeah. It's a data integration failure. The ad platform's tracking pixel lives on the dealership website, right? But the actual transaction, the car sale, happens in the dealer management system, or DMS.
And they aren't talking to each other.
Exactly. Unless the dealership has specifically configured offline conversion tracking to feed that DMS data back into the ad platform via an API, Google has no idea the person bought the car.
So the algorithm just keeps spending the dealership's money to retarget a guaranteed non-buyer.
Until the cookie window finally expires, yeah. It's a leaky audience bucket.
So how do you fix it?
Proper retargeting requires rigorous behavioral segmentation. If a user views a heavy-duty truck, the pixel should place them in a truck-specific audience.
Right, show them truck ads.
If they visit the trade page, show them trade-in messaging. And most importantly, there must be dynamic exclusion lists to remove people the second they buy.
Otherwise, you're just actively annoying your own customers.
Exactly. When you skip that technical setup, retargeting is just a nuisance.
Okay, so let's assume a dealership actually gets that part right. They fix the leaks, they segment the audiences.
A rare best-case scenario.
Right, they aren't trying to sell mozzarella sticks in the parking lot. Even then, the next massive hurdle is what the person actually sees. The creative itself.
Oh, the creative is usually a disaster.
Because it seems like the way most of these display ads are designed just completely ignores the medium they're in.
You have to consider the physical real estate of a banner ad. It's an incredibly small visual footprint, and it's competing against the content the user actually wants to see.
Right, they're trying to read an article, not look at your ad.
You have milliseconds to arrest their scrolling behavior. Milliseconds.
But dealers love those mini newspaper-style ads. Why are they so obsessed with cramming everything in?
Because they're used to legacy print advertising. They try to treat a tiny 300 by 250 pixel rectangle like a full-page Sunday newspaper spread.
They want the huge inventory reduction sales event headline, right?
Yes. They cram in multiple vehicle images, complex lease offers, heavy disclaimer text, 3 different logos.
All in a box the size of a postage stamp.
Which renders the ad completely illegible on a mobile device. Print relies on the user leisurely consuming the content. Digital display requires a micro hook.
So you have to communicate exactly one idea.
Exactly one idea quickly. Instead of a generic manager specials banner, the hook needs to be something sharp, like need a lower car payment.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's where the funnel breaks again, right? Let's say they run that exact hook, a targeted banner offering a lower payment. The user actually clicks it.
Right.
Where do they end up? Because usually they just get dumped right onto the dealership's generic homepage.
Yes, the infamous landing page disconnect. And honestly, it's a symptom of lazy tech.
Because they don't want to build a custom page.
Right. Dynamic inventory feeds, where the ad syncs with live inventory and generates a matching landing page, those require robust API middleware.
And most low-cost vendors aren't going to invest the time to build that.
Not at all. They take the path of least resistance. The vendor builds a static banner making a very specific promise, but then they just route the click to the homepage.
Or like a massive unfiltered search results page with 400 random cars.
Exactly. So the user immediately experiences cognitive dissonance. They clicked an ad for a lower payment solution, and now they're lost in a maze.
So they just bounce.
They bounce within seconds, the funnel breaks instantly, but, and here's the kicker on the vendor's monthly report, that interaction is still logged as a successful click that drove traffic.
Which brings us to the absolute darkest, most opaque part of this entire ecosystem.
The smoke and mirrors.
Right. If the creative is cluttered, the funnels are broken, and the traffic is bouncing in 3 seconds. How are vendors continually convincing dealerships that these campaigns are working?
It all comes down to attribution modeling. Specifically, the magic trick known as view-through conversions.
Okay, you have to break this down because view-through attribution seems wild to me.
It is arguably the most controversial metric in digital advertising.
Okay.
In a standard click-through conversion, it makes sense. A user clicks your ad, goes to your site, fills out a form, the platform gets credit.
Simple, cause and effect.
But view-through conversions allow the vendor to claim credit for a vehicle sale if a buyer simply had an ad render on their screen at some point before buying.
Wait, so they don't even have to click it?
They don't even have to look at it.
That is insane. So mechanically, how does that even happen?
Okay, picture this. A user is already deep in your sales funnel. They're in your CRM, emailing back and forth with the salesperson.
Right, they're practically ready to buy.
Later that evening, they open a weather app on their phone. Your vendor has purchased incredibly cheap, below-the-fold ad inventory on that app.
Okay.
The ad loads at the very bottom of the screen. The user never scrolls down, never sees it, and definitely never clicks it. But the tracking pixel fires, logging their device ID.
And then the next morning, that same customer walks into the showroom and buys the car they were already going to buy.
Exactly. When the transaction is logged, the display platform cross-references the device ID, sees its pixel fired the night before, and claims the banner ad assisted the conversion.
So the vendor just swoops in and takes credit for a sale your team had already closed.
Yes. It retroactively inserts itself into the attribution path. That's how a campaign with a 98% bounce rate suddenly looks highly profitable on a spreadsheet.
That is just, wow. And the smoke and mirrors extend to where these ads are placed too, right? especially with mobile apps.
Oh, mobile app placements are notorious for this, specifically gaming and children's apps. We call it the sticky finger problem.
The sticky finger
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. A parent hands their phone to a toddler so that they can play a mobile game. The app is heavy with programmatic display ads.
Let me guess. The toddler is just mashing the screen.
Just aggressively tapping everywhere, accidentally clicking the dealership's banner ad over and over.
And the dealership is paying a cost-per-click fee for every single one of those accidental toddler taps.
Exactly. And the algorithm, which only cares about maximizing click-through rates at the lowest cost, sees that toddler's app as a highly successful placement.
So it just routes even more budget into the toddler game.
Yep, it doubles down on the waste.
Okay, so if you're a dealer listening to this right now, and you're looking at a glowing, beautiful report from your vendor, what are the exact questions you need to ask today to cut through this?
You need an aggressive audit. First, you cannot accept high-level dashboard metrics. You have to demand the raw placement report. Ask them, show me the exact URLs and apps where our budget was actually spent.
And look for the toddler games.
Exactly. You have to mandate that all mobile app categories, particularly games and kids apps, are explicitly excluded at the campaign level.
What have the view-through conversions?
You have to ask, what is our view-through conversion window? If they're using a 30-day window, they're just scraping credit for your organic sales.
Yeah.
You'd have to force them to report on last-click conversions, or at the very least, restrict that view-through window to 24 hours.
And cross-reference those conversions against the CRM.
Exactly. See how many were existing active leads? And frankly, if a vendor pushes back on providing that level of granular data,
That's a massive red flag.
huge red flag. Run away.
Okay, so we've pretty thoroughly dismantled the standard approach to display here. But I think we need to acknowledge the nuance.
Fair enough.
The channel isn't inherently completely useless, right?
Right.
The technology does work. So how and when should a dealership actually deploy Google Display without just burning capital?
It's all about budget hierarchy. Display should never, ever steal money from high-intent channels.
Right, like Google Search or your service marketing.
Exactly, or your business development center. If your search campaigns run out of budget by 3:00 p.m., or your BDC is understaffed, funding display is just strategic malpractice.
It's like, okay, think of it like building a sundae. Display ads are the cherry on top. They aren't the ice cream itself.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be buying the cherry if you haven't even funded the ice cream.
That's spot on. Once the high-intent channels are fully funded and running efficiently, then you can deploy display. But as a highly specific surgical tool?
So discipline retargeting.
Right. Or supporting very specific service campaigns, like a real event with a real offer, provided the landing page perfectly matches the creative.
It's a nice-to-have channel, basically.
Yes. Dealerships have to stop viewing it as this magic awareness machine and treat it as a precision instrument for very specific audiences.
Well said.
Yeah.
So to wrap this all up for you listening, the primary takeaway from diving into these back-end failures is that you absolutely must stop confusing attention with intent.
They are not the same thing.
Right. Capturing someone who is actively searching for a vehicle is totally different from interrupting someone trying to read the news. Paid wallpaper floating around the internet just isn't a marketing strategy.
No, it's just a donation to Google.
Exactly. A true strategy requires tight audiences, specific messages, and specific follow-up paths.
And, I want to leave everyone with one final thought here, building on all this.
Yeah, go for it.
If we look at where digital advertising is heading, it relies more and more on AI algorithms, things like Google's Performance Max.
Right, the black box automate.
Exactly. And those algorithms are naturally trained to seek out the cheapest, easiest clicks just to make the aggregate reports look good.
Wow.
So could the future of automated ad buying actually make this exact problem worse for dealerships who don't manually step in and take control of their intent targeting?
That is a scary thought. Handing the keys over to an algorithm that's just optimizing for sticky toddler fingers and CRM scraping.
Just to hit a quota?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started by picturing someone with a megaphone in a room full of noise-canceling headphones. I guess the only thing more expensive than shouting into the void is paying an AI to do it for you while it convinces you everyone is listening.
Perfectly said.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Check your placement reports, audit your attribution windows, and we'll catch you next time.